Again, Ken, aren't we?
We're back.
We're back. What's new this week? What are you up to?
Well, I know we have O26.
Oh wow, going right into it. I'm just saying what's new. Like sometimes I start. Last few weeks, it's been a nice day here. How is the weather down there? Nice and hot and humid.
Well, it's a lawn mowing day. I
It's
know you'll be
lawn mowing
excited to
day.
learn. Yeah.
I'm incredibly excited to learn. Are you one of those fellas that likes to cut the lawns in a parallel or like diagonal fashion? Do you switch it up? How do you
I
do it?
try to cut, I use an electric mower with a cord, so I kind of have to work my way
Ooh,
away from the house.
nice, nice. That makes sense. So is it always the same pattern or is it a different pattern?
No, I change it up, keep things
Nice. You gotta
interesting.
keep. Yeah, you can't let that grass. You can't let that grass grow in one direction. All
I
right.
try to spend, I just try to make it as efficient as I can
Nice.
and
Going
avoid too much
efficiency.
backtracking. Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Time
appreciate that.
efficient.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of efficiency. I totally understand. All right. So into the meat of it. I think what did you say? A new release came out. Is that what you
Yeah, I
said?
noticed that we had a Magic Zero major release dot 26, and we're
Yeah,
already up at a dot one.
I noticed that too. And did you happen to get a look at the change log?
Yeah, I got a preview of it, but I don't know if I'll be a very good tour guide.
I don't know if I'll be a very good tour guide either. Reading these release notes every single week is always nothing if not entertaining, right?
We'll see if we
All
can make
right.
sense.
Well, at least it entertains me. I like it when I can make sense of the release notes, and I like it when I get stumbled when I stumble over the
Absolutely. Once
release
in a while,
notes.
you pick up on something really valuable that you needed to know.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got? We got breaking changes. That's why we're at 0.26.0, huh? The
Yes.
Fabric Management Terminators API has changed the name of some fields. Uh-oh. So if you're using that Fabric Terminator API, you're in trouble. I don't know too many people using it, so hopefully that won't affect anybody. Or you know what? I take it back, Ken. I hope someday it'll affect people. I hope it'll affect them dramatically because they're using the API so much that they're like, no, don't change the API. What are you guys thinking? But right now, we're still able to get away with making API changes like this
Make it
and
the way it should be.
not breaking too many hearts. All right. The management channel, which was formerly deprecated, is now removed. Ooh,
Decommissioned.
that's exciting. I wonder what
Deprecate, then
happens.
decommissioned.
Yeah, it's now removed, so it should be gone. I wonder what happens in the config. I didn't see any mention of whether or not stale config entries matter. Support for the old metrics subsystem has been removed. I gotta admit, I don't even use the new metric subsystem nor the old one. Although I have been, uh, I have been so lucky to have used the output of the metrics when we were looking at them in various forms. Usually, I think we use Kibana for a lot of our visualizations like that. Maybe do we use Grafana? I think we have Grafana, right? Yeah, I think we have Grafana tied into Kibana as well. So I've done that as well. That's always nice. Those metrics are quite robust. You can get a lot of good information from them. Let's see. New on the edge. We've got a not applicable on the edge. Nothing in the edge. So it looks like the terminator fields. That's what's up. Circuit failed events. Additional circuit inspect gathered. Nice. ZD CLI had to change some stuff there. Nothing in the Golang SDK. And then there's this new project, the identity, which I know of this. So Andrew, our friend Andrew, works in the edge and the controller stuff, is implementing SNI for ZD controller, and I don't know if it's for the edge router, but definitely for the controller. I actually should have asked that question. I forgot to ask. Are you familiar
Yeah,
with
so
SNI?
only from the perspective of like with the load balancer, it might use that to route the request. That is a reverse proxy might use SNI to route an incoming request to the correct backend, the correct upstream pool.
Yeah, are you familiar with what it's all about? Like I really wasn't familiar with it until this all
Um,
happened.
it exposes the domain name of the target server, the requested target server, before TLS begins.
Yeah, it's actually an extension to TLS. SNI
Okay,
is a TLS extension.
right, but it's
Um,
plain text. right? Not encrypted.
Well, that's right. So it's in from what I understood, it's in the client hello, and the client hello is in plain text. Although then there's ESNI, and there's even a new one. I think stands for encrypted SNI. And then there was another one I think I looked up when I was learning about this myself. But the big thing is allowing a single IP address to be not resolvable, but acceptable for multiple domain names. Changes in identity ripple through everything that uses TLS config. Yeah, including routers. Oh, good to know. Look, we have Andrew on the line. Ken, are you muted on purpose just to make sure?
I'm here.
Oh, you are there. Excellent. All right. Let's see. I can't read the rest here. Let me get Andrew out of here. Hide. All right. Fabric Terminator field name changes. Oh, this is the details if you're interested. Circuit types. All right, cool. All right. And then 26.1 came out real quick because there was a small misstep and SNI support was, let's say, reintroduced in 26.1. So not a big update here, just a fixing of the last update.
Latest is bestest.
Latest is bestest, and as a good artifact, we never should replace a release. So we made a brand new one, and so now there's a 26 and 26.1 there. All right, that covers our release notes. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what I wanted to do before. Last week on Ziti TV, I had SSH'd into my Amazon world, and I've gone back into here, and I used the quick start at one time to start this thing up so I can CD to Ziti home. Oh, because another fun tip for anybody, like if you look at tail -5 bash RC, oh, it's more than 5 somewhere in here. Maybe I should just grep for it. So I added this little line to my bash RC a while back because if you follow the quick start, then it will emit an environment variable right there. And that environment variable has all of the, that environment file has all of the environment variables that were set when you ran the quick start. And so it's a nice way to get those environment variables back into your shell when you're using or when you're SSHing somewhere.
Sure. Yeah.
It also sets a couple of interesting, fun little functions or aliases, but not all the functions. One of the things that is a common tripping point for people is there are lots of functions that are in the get ZDCLI functions.sh that are not emitted as aliases here. So someday we're going to true all that together and stop having a little bifurcation of where the functions are versus where the aliases are. Anyway, because I have that in my bash RC, when I SSH here, it sources that file for me. And that means I can do that CD to $ZD home that I just did, and it brings me right to that location. The reason why I'm here is because in this is a YAML file. And that YAML file, last week, I had gone about the task of splitting my API. So if I find the word bind points in here. So I went so far as to make my management API dark, and I am providing it now on 18.4.41. I then tried to use the ZD admin console, as you probably recall, and
right.
That failed miserably, but that's all right. That's been fixed now. So now we can actually finish the dark ZAC stuff that I started last week. And on top of that, Kurt actually added the Node SDK to the ZAC. And on another episode of Ziti TV, we'll see a truly dark ZAC, one which doesn't even listen on localhost, and one which doesn't need to attach through, where you don't need to attach to the API through a tunneler. You can just call the service itself. So that'll be neat. Cool. Anyway, this is all there. And I wanted to show that working because we do have it working. So if I go over to, let me find, I need a new browser window. Let's do it over here. We can go to HTTP. Now this is HTTP, mind you. I don't have HTTPS working. It's called Clint's Zach. I don't know if I need port 80 on there or not, but I'm going to add it just so that Chrome doesn't get too grouchy with me. So obviously Clint's.Zach, not a valid top level domain. Here I am. This is the URL of my EC2 instance. You can see I tested the bad Zach controller and the good dark Zach controller. So I'm going to log into this.
So now the browser itself is going to make the direct connection over Ziti.
So right here, the browser itself goes through the tunneler. So I actually,
Right.
direct connection threw me off for a moment.
Logical. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do have a dark Zach service with
Yep.
a Clint's Zach intercept on port 80. And so my browser is going there. And what happens is Zach itself makes a connection. We can go and see the server settings. Zach makes a connection relative to where Zach resides. So I can tell Zach to attach to localhost 18.441 instead.
Right. And it's
So
running inside your browser.
This is not. No. This Zach.
No, I mean, Zach is running inside your browser.
Well, I wouldn't say it runs there. Like Zach run like it's a web app if that's what you mean. Is that
Yeah,
what you
like
mean?
it's a JavaScript application running inside your web browser that's going to call localhost
Oh, no,
18.441.
no. This is a simple, plain old HTTP application. So this when I log in, it is me sending information to Zach through the browser, and then Zach relaying that information to the Ziti management API, authorizing Zach
Oh, okay.
itself.
So it's from the perspective of the server application, not running in your web browser, but remotely. Yep.
Exactly. That's why I got a little thrown
That
off
makes more
there.
sense.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, what we're going to do today is just take a look at posture checks themselves. So, if we come in and we see, where is our posture checks in here? Are they listed? I don't even see posture checks here.
They might be organized under with service policies.
Not in service policies. They're in services. That's where they are, right here. So here is where you can find posture checks in the Zach under the services tab. I click on services. You get a bunch of options up here, one of which is posture checks. And so what a posture check is it's a way of doing continual authorization. So when you run a ZD Edge tunnel, like I am right here, which uses our CSDK, if you create a posture check, then the client itself is going to be instructed that there are posture checks that need to be evaluated, and then the application will perform whatever the evaluation is that you have asked it to perform, assuming that you've implemented the instructions. And then what will happen is once that evaluation occurs on your local machine, the posture result will be supplied back to the controller, back to the OpenZiti overlay network. And that posture information will be used in order to figure out whether or not you are able to dial a service. Posture checks,
Okay.
does that make sense?
Yeah, let me see if I've got this right. It sounds like you're saying that the policies that we have are conditional upon some facts being true, and the administrator wants to know for sure that that fact is true at the time that the policy is being used. And the facts are facts about endpoints. That is the places where the identity is installed.
Yeah, and it's a continual authorization, which is interesting, so that if there is a change in the posture of the endpoint, that is reflected back to the controller, and then the information is used to continue to allow or to deny access to whatever that service might have been. Yep. So
Makes sense.
I have one identity with one service on it right here, and I was going to play around with this, and we're going to take a look at what the posture checks are and just explore. That's what today's all about. I am by no means the posture check expert. I do see Andrew watching, though. Andrew is the posture check expert, so he'll keep me honest out there. And let's just take a look. So let's go ahead and see what we have available for a posture check. All right, so I'm going to make a posture check. I'm going to say my first posture check. Uh, we could, everything in Ziti allows you to add attributes to them, so we can add a type of posture check. So let's call these Clint posture. I'm going to say PCs because I don't want to type posture checks. So we're
All
going
right.
to call it these. So every posture check with this attribute on it will be applied to whatever I choose. And I'm gonna use an attribute so I don't have to know what the name is and make it easy
Right.
on myself. Select the type. Ooh, what are our options? So we have
Oh, some room
a
for
Mac,
creativity here.
a MAC address check. MAC address is something that is associated to your network card. It is, I think it's hardware based, right? It is not. Is
It's
it spoofable?
usually, yeah, it's spoofable. There is a burned in address, but it's totally spoofable by the operating system.
And have you ever spoofed a MAC address? I've never done it
Well,
myself.
if you have an Android or I believe also an iPhone, then you do it all the time because it randomizes the MAC address that it presents to the Wi-Fi
Is
access point.
is that so, Ken? Thank you so much for telling me that. Does an Android do that, or just an
Android definitely does that, but I'm not certain that iPhone does that. But I expect that they do because it's a
well,
security
no?
vulnerability. It makes you easily trackable if you're constantly broadcasting your burned in Ethernet address everywhere you go. Then anyone could passively monitor that and make a map of everywhere that you've been.
No, that's really interesting because I have a Unify home network, and every once in a while, a new MAC address shows up that I've never seen before that is accessing the network, and I've never been able to track down exactly where it comes from. So perhaps that's what it is. Well,
Yep.
that's neat. And let's see, and I can give it a name. Let's see, what's the name field mean here? I don't know what name means. MAC address and a name? I guess I can name the MAC address, like Clint's network card, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I would think it is. It's just a semantic label.
All right. We can do an operating system check. It still has a name and value. I'm not so sure that that's you know. Here's what we do: when we question the ZAC, we decide to go over to the ZD CLI, and let's see what the ZD CLI has to offer us. So we can do a ZD Edge create posture
You're looking for
POST.
the equivalent nomenclature in the ZDCLI.
Yeah, so exploring the UI, very useful, right? You can go through and just click on some stuff and see what it offers. ZDCLI has similar type of offering. So if you just type ZD Edge create posture check, you get one set of instructions that it tells you what it can do, right?
Ah, I see.
So we've looked at, the one we're looking at right now is Mac. So let's type Mac and see what it has for help. It says a set of MAC addresses of the posture check, CLI identity, output JSON, role attributes, tags. So those are tags. That's going to be what it is. I don't actually know what the tags may be for, but I'm sure that these are tags now because it says a name and a value, and tags tend to be name and value. So add tags. All right. Well, I don't know what the tags are for in this case, but that's good. I mean, I know that we allow tags on, I don't know if it's every object, but it might be every object in the API. All right, so here's our operating system check. We can check for Android. Ooh, it lets us decide I didn't see that before, but it lets us pick a
Looks like a
version number.
semantic version.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Now, I will say, because I've been playing around in here lately, that I see one missing from the ZAC. If I were to go back over to here to create a posture check OS, I've seen this before. Set of OSs, version number. Well, now I have seen Windows Server specifically listed in the past. I do not see it on Create Posture Check OS though, but I know I've seen this. It was update posture check. Show me. Same sort of thing. I am pretty sure I've seen Windows controller specifically highlight, or Windows
Windows
controller,
Server.
Windows Server specifically highlighted here, but I don't see it now. All right, well, not important. Let's just minimum and maximum versions are not necessary. So I can actually create, I'm going to create this posture check because I run on Windows. Actually,
So your
maybe,
client should be succeeding.
yeah, maybe what I should do is turn it off first. What do you think?
Are you going to lose access to anything?
I will lose access to Zach. Yeah,
Oh,
I only
okay.
have one
Okay.
service. So,
Boom.
okay.
Oh,
Apparently
I
my
wonder if that was
session,
the
apparently my
coincidence.
session has expired. Perhaps this might be relevant or related to the whole API split. Let's go back and just see. Let me make a new services posture checks plus. I will mention Jeremy Tellier's name again because it's a good little indicator, Jeremy, where we are when you can watch the Zach. Let's make this, we're going to call this Clint OS check. The roles is going to be Clint PCs. Going to select operating system. Going to make Mac OS. And we're going to click save. Uh-oh. Well, looks like we've got a bug, folks. So we're going to be dropping back to the CLI for editing posture checks. That means I'm going to have to type this all in. Let's see how well I can do here, Ken. Ziti Edge create posture check. I got to give it an ID or a name. Clint OS check. And then some flags. So OS is going to be Windows. Nope, I'm going to be Mac OS, right? Mac OS. All right, and I get an identity. So now if I come back over to here, do my login dance again, go to services and go to posture checks, I should see a new posture check. And I don't see a new posture check. Okay, what if I do a ZD Edge list posture checks? Okay, well, we've got a posture check. It's just not showing up in the Zach. So I'm guessing that that's simply a section that Jeremy missed. So Jeremy, gotta fix that, buddy.
And you clarified that the tags are not referenced by ZD internally.
Yeah, they're just they're so like the Zach actually uses those tags for things like this. So Zach has a way. If you go to an edge router, not edge router, if you go to one of these things and you edit it, there is actually a tag right here, geolocation. So if you put a
Ah,
geolocation in, Zach uses the tags to store that information, and then Zach then displays you that quote unquote Zach information right here. What I was wondering is whether or not we had it on every single entity. I imagine it's most of them. I don't know if it's all of them. All right, well, let's go back to services. We're in trouble because we can't use posture checks in Zach, which means I'm going to have to go and reference my cheat sheet. And I'm going to have to run through all of this using the ZDCLI itself. All right, so I've made a posture check. I have a service. Let's look. Let's see. ZD Edge list services. Name contains. Let's do dark. So I have Dark Zach. Dark Zach 2 was me goofing around, not relevant. ZD, actually, do I have a Zell? No. ZD Edge list. We're going to make that alias. Alias Zell equals ZD Edge list. Now I can ZD Edge list service policies. Policies. Name contains dark. Okay. And so we have a dark Zach dial right here. That's the one that we want. We want to allow my particular identity to dial the dark Zach. I must have given my identity the identity role of dark Zach. Let's just verify that. Zell identities name contains dark. User dark Zach right there has a dark Zach attribute. Okay, cool. So this is the posture checks associated to the dark Zach dial. As you can see, there are none. So let's add one. And this is the service policy that we do this with. So we can do a ZD Edge update service policy dark Zach dial dash P and at, oh, what was the, Oh no, actually, we can do the pound Clint PCs, right?
Did yourself a little
Uh
favor
oh.
there.
Uh-oh. Flag
And
needs an argument.
oh, you
Well,
need to escape that hash symbol.
you think?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's commented. All right.
Yeah.
And Ziti
ZD
again
never even saw it.
is right. Service policy. Nope. I want to list them. Ziti list service policies. All right. So now we've got a service policy associated to my dial. Policies are currently evaluated every 20 seconds. So at some point here, I would expect to show a little failure.
Denied.
Yeah, so we'll leave that running right there. Make this do this here. Bring all right. I might have to tail the log to make sure I'm getting service policy updates. I should have. You know what? It's also possible I am using a local developer version. Let me turn this off and make sure that I didn't break. There's a good chance that I've been doing development work and just broken my ZD edge.
Oh, you have a special
Well,
ZDoo.
well, yeah. So you see here is the path that installs that things at, and you can see I have my backup file right here, and you can see this file is created 7/13, so that's 2 days ago. So pretty good chance that I probably busted something.
Gotcha.
So let's just delete that, and we'll rename the executable, and now we'll start back up again. Okay, now let's see what happens. It does take 20 seconds for the check to come through, assuming I did it right. Let's also make sure I did it right, right? I made it for Mac, ZD Edge list, ZD Edge list, posture, checks. It doesn't
Mac
have
OS any.
it doesn't have a role attribute on it. See that? I made the OS check, but it did not put an attribute on it. CD.
So it didn't get added to the service policy?
Right, because the service policy used an attribute, and I didn't use an attribute. So I'm going to update my posture check called Clint OS check, add an attribute of Clint PCs. Right? I think that's what I called it. Yeah, right there. Oops. Unknown shorthand A. Okay, so now we're going to do a help and see what I'm doing wrong. ZD Edge update posture checks Clint OS check minus A. It says it wants to update an OS posture check. Okay. And
Role attribute strings.
apparently I just missed the OS that was necessary before. Let's do that ZD Edge list posture checks again. There we go. Now
Posture
I've
check,
got
posture check type. Yep.
Yeah, now I got a posture check. Now, oh, and look at that. Now you can
Boom.
see
Little
that I am
orange, little yellow
now,
triangle.
yep, now I am failing a posture check. Now, this is probably not a posture check that continual authorization is going to be all that useful for. You're not going to change your operating system too quickly,
Like that.
right? It's probably not too relevant. This is something maybe I don't know. Andrew won't care about this, but I have not been able to clear my posture checks lately. Let's see if that works. I have tried to update it so that it has no role attribute. It did work. Awesome. And look, it's cleared already. Fantastic. Okay. That wasn't
No more
working
than
for
20
me.
seconds.
That's probably because I was running the wrong version. Well, it's up to 20 seconds. So if you catch it just right, it'll submit the data, and then on the next poll, it'll come back, and it'll seem really, really fast if you catch it just right. All right. Well, that's cool. That's an OS posture check. We saw that fail. Let's just go back to the UI and explore some more on our types here. Another one was process posture check. So you can select an operating system. Let's go with Windows. And you can provide a path to the executable that you want to be there. So I actually have one called Notepad.
I'm guessing this is useful because you wouldn't want to exclude some of your computers on the basis of them running a Windows only process,
Well,
unless they were Windows, right?
yeah, that's exactly right. So if let me go over, I have a pre-cooked posture check. So ZD Edge create posture check. I'm going to do a process multi in this case. If I come back over here, does process multi show up in this dropdown? Windows process multi check right there. Okay. Well, that should show me more. It should show me the same sort of thing as this does, but um, process multi. So now we're going to use a semantic. That's also important. And there's any of and all of. I imagine, Ken, you know what that means.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is exactly where you would use the operating system. You would say must be running this Windows particular security process and must be Windows in
Right.
order for this posture check to apply.
Well, it's a process multi, so it'll also do up, and all of them will have to be running. So, like if you wanted to run Notepad and something else,
So
right?
you'd have
That
a
would
different
be
service policy for each operating system if you were delineating the criteria. If the criteria were different per operating system, then you'd have separate service policies.
yes. If you used all of, that would be necessary. If you used any of, I don't know. I would think that you would be able to have a Linux and a Windows mixed in together, as long as it was not all of. But I don't know that. I don't
If my
know.
only choices are,
I don't know what
yeah,
the semantic happens when your operating systems differ. It's a test I've actually never done. I do have to add an attribute to this posture check, which is why I deleted it. So you can see I'm going to run the Notepad application that comes with Windows, and I'm going to
right.
give it a posture check. PCs there. So now this should fail, and it should tell me process multi. Now this is a good example of continual authorization. So now what I can do is I can turn on Notepad, bring it over here so you can see this running, and then presumably this is going to go away, assuming I did everything correctly, which is, I screw stuff up all the time, all day long. Boop boop. Come on. I know this has worked. Come on, do it already. It's like watching paint dry, Ken. Well, what we'll do in the meantime is we'll come back over here and take a look at how are we doing for time? 11:30. All right. We'll look at the other ones. A domain check. That's actually an interesting one. So you can check to make sure that you're on the correct Windows domain. Um, does say Windows. Are Linux machines able to be attached to domains? I don't know
Most
if
definitely.
yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting. I wonder if Windows domain check needs to be just domain check. And then multi-factor. Ooh, that's going to be a fun one. I can't wait to do that one. Let's go back and see if my posture check has cleared. Boom, boom, boom. It has. Humans, or particularly this
Hey,
human, not very patient. So Andrew wants to know if you can close the issue about two quotes. I don't think so, buddy, because I I asked, I put steps to reproducing that bug. I'm pretty sure it wasn't posture checks. All right, so um, we showed a bunch of different posture checks. We showed them dynamically get added and failed and pass. The last one here, as interesting as multi-factor. So Ziti natively supports multi-factor authorization. So what I can do is I can toggle this on, and I'll get a little QR code, which I can then add to my phone here in my little app. Or if I'm a cheater, which I cheat a lot, I can run a little app like this locally and import my secret. So that's what I'm going to do. You can either use your phone or you can show the secret. I'm going to copy that secret down, and I'm going to add a label. This is going to be, let's go to Ziti TV demo MFA. I paste my secret in there. I click the save button. Now I have ZD demo MFA here. Copy this, I paste it here, and I thought authenticate. I probably clicked the button because my little codes went away real quick. But there are MFA recovery codes that you can use. And so now that now that I have MFA enabled, what I can do, and in fact, let me turn off the Ziti Desktop Edge for Windows and you see what it looks like when I turn it back on again. So at this point, I've got this cute little lock icon, and the little lock icon is saying that you need to authenticate for this identity using your multi-factor auth. Just
Right.
having the strong identity is not sufficient for this network. You also need to authenticate and drop in those digits. So let's go ahead and do that. And when I do that, you'll see I'm now connected. I have my posture check succeeding. Everything works. Now what I want to show is there's a bug in this next bit. I don't know how it'll work out. So if things go wrong, I've told you already ahead of time. Timeout. Let's set this timeout to be 15 seconds. I'm going to make a multi-factor. Let's do Clint MFA. I'll give it Clint PCs.
So effectively, you would need to re-authenticate with your MFA token
Every
every
15
15
seconds.
seconds.
Yes.
Continually, just to drive the point home.
Just to drive it home, right? You think too much, Ken? Maybe 10? What do you think? No. So the other thing you can do is check off require on wake and require on unlock. I don't know if I can do wake because I'll have to put my machine to sleep and
That's
then
not going to work.
everything will go around. But I could probably lock. We'll see. Like if all of a sudden Ziti TV stops, you'll know why. Right?
I think the continual authentication is probably strong enough case.
Well, we're gonna lock it and just see what happens. Well, I don't know if I might have to turn off the timer. I've never gone so dramatic here. All right, so now posture check is failing MFA. That's pretty awesome. So just by adding that posture check, hang on, I added that posture check in the ZAC.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't working before. So it must be just that single posture check that was failing. Right. Remember? And also my I'm still not seeing them. I actually made it in the ZAC. That's really funny. Zell posture checks. And so I don't have the latest. You know, Andrew. I don't have the latest pushed either. Let's see if I can do a real quick history. So you see this posture check output, Ken?
Yep.
Ugly, right? So let's do history for source. No, grep for source. Spell it right. I'm gonna see if we can make this happen real quick. So I'm going to get the latest version of Ziti here. So get Ziti 26.1. Here we go. Oh, puts it in the wrong location. Unset Ziti bin dir bin root version. All right, now let's see what happens if I get Ziti.
You're upgrading your Ziti CLI, right?
I'm trying to, yeah. Because if I did all that right, and if Ziti version reports 26, and it reports 25. Okay, so I'll have to. I'm gonna just run it. I'm gonna just run it directly. Because if I do a Ziti edge list service policies, now you'll see some hotness. Our good buddy Andrew, again, lots of Andrew love on this channel.
Much easier to read.
Much easier to read. I was trying to make it. There we go. There we go. You can see I've got 49. So let's make service policies. Oh, no. I wanted to do posture checks anyway. Posture checks. That's what I wanted to see. Also very, very complicated. So let's shrink this down.
Oh, wow.
Make it bigger.
Multi-line cells.
Right? Pretty neat. Let's see if this is just a artifact. There we go. So you can see I'm looking for a notepad and a semantic of any of. Here's the identity of, or the ID of the posture check. Mm-hmm. Here's the one I just added. You can see it's got a 15-second timeout and everything's good. So that's the latest stuff, the nice addition that Andrew made just the other day. So let's copy our digits. Let's go in here. Let's do our MFA dance. We'll see we're happy. And now if I just wait for 15 seconds, the continual authorization should kick in, and I'll have to put my digits back in. So we have some
Or as
people who
many
use
as
this.
25,
What was
up
that?
to 25 seconds.
Maybe 35? Maybe. Yeah, maybe it depends on. So there are two timers at play there. There's um, the timer that checks for service changes, which is slightly different than the timer
Hmm.
that runs the posture checks. And so then there's the timer for the MFA, the 15-second thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I don't know how many seconds it'll take, but it'll probably be more than I'm willing to wait because that's how much patience I have. But what should happen here eventually, I'm sure what will happen, that is that this will stop succeeding. I'll get the posture check failure again, assuming that 15-second thing hits. And like I said, it could be 45 seconds. It all depends on how the timing works.
Yeah.
But
That'll be
that
internal.
should I hopefully it'll work while we sit here talking about it. And that's everything for posture checks I think of. I don't know if I've missed anything interesting. Did I miss anything interesting, Ken?
Andrew had one more comment.
Oh, nice. We should shout out to the CLI maintainer. Why don't you shout out who's the package?
I'm not sure. I'm
Oh, I
not
know.
sure who that
I was
is.
talking to chat here. Hey, chat.
Yeah,
What is that
that's
package?
pretty
Or
cool.
in this case, it's
Hey,
Andrew.
chat. You might be able to come back.
Um, I still don't see my posture check failing, so I wonder if I did it right, or if I wonder if there's a
Well,
different.
I'm curious to hear some brainstorm useful applications of posture checks. I posited one. As the administrator, I want to know that my Windows users are running a particular security process,
Well, like a
and
virus scanner, for
like
example.
a virus scanner or some further endpoint manager software, like an agent that I control, and I want to know perhaps that that agent has a particular checksum. Can I verify that a certain file that a process is represented by a certain file, or that a certain file has a certain checksum? Could I use it to check for some other kind of like, what else would I use posture checks for besides a
Well,
particular operating system?
I mean, really, it is up to you as the person who is the maintainer or the creator of that posture check. But whatever the security posture is that you want to maintain and ensure, that's yes, we know it was Go Pretty by JediBot.
Okay.
We saw. I turned it off because it was there
Okay.
forever. um, sorry. What was I saying? Yeah, it's up to you. So, you came up with the one, the virus scanner. I don't know what else people would want to be on there. Like, I don't know. Well, what would happen if you had a multi-application service and you wanted to make sure that you were only able to dial the service if all of the services were available, something like that,
Hmm.
or at least
Okay.
running. I don't know. I think
Tremendous
the
creative
big one,
freedom.
yeah, for sure.
It's
I
very
think
broad.
the big one is for sure the virus scanners, and there might be other security software that you're supposed to run. Like, I don't know if we have a not running. For example, I was attached on my mobile phone while away from my home network, and I mistakenly brought up the network provider that I use, their IP television, and it told me I was using a VPN. Hey, you're
Right.
running a VPN. You're not allowed to do this. I don't think we have the opposite of a ZD process check, which is that something is not running.
Was it
I don't
saying that
know.
you're running a VPN or you're connecting to me through a VPN?
It was saying we have detected that you are connecting to this website and you are running a VPN, which means you're
Oh, okay.
probably not on your home network, and we do not want to permit you to stream your live TV at this time.
Huh.
One of those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I think that the one use case we've seen for sure is virus scans. I don't know if there's anything else that's more interesting that people would use. I am interested that 15-second hasn't kicked in still. So there's probably it could be that it's a bug. What would be neat is if I can curl there. So if I curl not HTTPS to Clint.Zach, I cannot resolve it. Well, that's interesting. So now let me turn it off because this might just be a UI thing. I wanted to see if the controller has noticed that I have not provided my credentials yet. And if it does, then what happens here? This all just might be a UI problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I paste that, do that. Now I should be able to curl there. Okay, so sudo vi etc resolve.conf. I will add name servers 100.64.0.3. Oh, stupid. I'm on the Amazon machine. That's why it didn't work. Curl to Clinzac. Dig.
You added your name server on the Amazon machine, but not,
yeah, I
it,
know.
but is it added? But is it needed here as well?
It shouldn't be. That's what I'm checking right now.
Yeah, because this is your machine with
Yeah.
Ziti Desktop Edge running.
It says
Clint.Zac.
I don't see an answer though. It says it got an answer, but it doesn't. I don't see an IP address. Okay. Well, this now fails again. Well, that's interesting because I just put that in, so that did succeed. Let's try this again. Copy. Paste. Authenticate. Done. Do this. Dig. I don't see an answer here. I should get an answer for that. Well. All right. I love it when Ziti TV goes up in flames here. we got some other kind of bug, or I've done it wrong. It's one of the two. I do see, however, this has kicked in again already. So 15
yes.
seconds has gone by. This is kicked back in again.
Like continually authenticate.
Yeah, let me do one more thing. Let me use the straight up command prompt and do a curl to HTTP because that'll take away the Windows subsystem for Linux. Clinz Zac on port 80. Okay, that's not dialable. That's what I expect. Let's go over to here. Get where's my little key? Get my digits. Put the digits in. Do the paste. Do this. That should definitely work.
Because now you're in the Windows terminal instead of the WSL
Right.
terminal.
Right.
Seems
well,
satisfied.
looks like the timer. The UI is satisfied. There is still the service itself, and then what I could do is try to go to the controller and find the dial failures. There's an API.
Everything's visible there
that you can connect to. But I think what I'm going to do instead is call this Ziti TV complete. We learned a lot. I'm going to go back and investigate whether I did this wrong or whether there's a problem with
all right.
Ziti Edge on the Windows with the MFA timer because it could be a bug. Let's do this. Turn that off. Come back to us.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for driving, Clint, and taking me through that. I understand posture checks a lot better now.
Cool. Well, thanks, Ken. Always enjoy having you riding shotgun in the Ziti TVs. We'll see you next week. Take care.
All right. Later, Clint.